A healthcare CEO was gunned down in broad daylight, and a lot of folks are like, eh. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. So the people who like to tell us how we should think, the New York Times types, they like to tell us that the working class, the white working class in particular, voted to support Donald Trump because they're tired of being lorded over by the ruling class. The viral reaction to the recent murder of a healthcare CEO from a wide swath of America, not just the white voters who voted for Trump, but also including progressives and people who generally prefer root canals to talking politics. It feels like it might be coming from the same place. So you've heard the news. The alleged shooter, Luigi Mangione, 26, of Towson, Maryland, is being hailed by many as being just short of a hero in the wake of the December 4 murder of UnitedHealth CEO Brian Thompson, who was shot multiple times as he headed to an early morning investors meeting in midtown Manhattan. This was last week. Uh, Here's a quote from a guy, Jim Acosta, the CNN host, who's also a JMU grad, actually, local guy for us in a sense. This was Acosta on his show yesterday. Certainly, there's a lot to be said about fixing our healthcare industry, but this is just not the way. And elevating somebody who did something like this is certainly not the way. This man had a family. There are people suffering as a result of this. Now, this clearly identifies more with the CEO class and not the literal tens of millions of people who have been themselves screwed over by the big money healthcare system or know somebody who has been or is in a process currently of being screwed over. Um, I would count myself more among that latter group than among the group who identifies with the CEO class. Not personally, fortunately for me, in terms of being screwed over by the healthcare sector, but two situations close to me. My childhood best friend is currently in UVA hospital, fighting for his life. He's waiting for a heart transplant. We hope gets far enough along that actually is happening for him. But in the meantime, in addition to fighting for his life while waiting for a heart transplant, he's having to deal with daily phone calls from debt collectors despite having Cadillac health insurance. I mean, this guy's got good health insurance, and yet he's on this weird payment plan now, and his life has been wrecked by this situation. And it doesn't help that the I'm trying to search for the word here. Carnivores are out for what they can get. And then there was another situation when I was a kid, and this is something that has really shaped my thinking lifelong about healthcare and what we need to do differently, which is everything. I had an aunt and uncle who, again, and they had great health insurance. I'd call it Cadillac health insurance. They had to go through a financial hardship after their daughter was in a freak car accident that led her to have a debilitating brain injury and just changed. I mean, it obviously changed the trajectory of her life and theirs as well. The fallout of that included, I mean, the pressure that led to them getting divorced. So that's something that, again, it was from me in childhood that I saw this going on, and uh, it's our system is 33 industrialized countries, 32 have figured out how to do universal healthcare. We're the only ones who haven't. We prefer to allow uh, companies to make billions of dollars managing our healthcare for us by taking the money and then not giving it back out in terms of paying claims. United Health is one of the worst at that. Um, Everybody's got this story. This is not, these stories are legion. 100 million people in the U.S. Carry significant medical debt, according to a study by Kaiser Health News and NPR. 41.2% of all American adults carry significant medical debt. And medical debt is the primary reason behind 60% of U.S. personal bankruptcies every year. We're talking about like 750,000 bankruptcies are declared every year because of medical debt. And it doesn't have to be the case. This doesn't have to be the case. I'll quote here a guy named Beau Forte. He's a former Green Party candidate for Congress up in New Jersey. This is what he had to say on social media about all this. Watching my father decide to basically refuse care and commit suicide instead of watching health insurance companies pick his bones dry while he is still alive is something I'll never forget. This is what motivated him to run for Congress. A similar sentiment was expressed on social media by a University professor named Anthony Zinkas. Today, we mourn the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, gunned down Wait, I'm sorry. Today we mourn the death of 68,000 Americans who needlessly die each year so that insurance company execs like Brian Thompson can become multimillionaires. To that point, we have the report of a U.S. Senate committee that concluded earlier this year that three major companies, including UnitedHealthcare, which brought in $281 billion in revenue last year, are intentionally denying claims from patients to increase profits. Intentionally denying claims from patients to increase profits. Let me say that again. Intentionally denying claims to increase profits. This is a Senate report. At the least, as a result of everything I just told you, we can see that this story is complicated and gets even more so when you factor in that the shooter, this Luigi Mangione kid, I'll call him a kid, he's 26 years old, Ivy League grad, grandson of a multi-millionaire real estate developer whose parents are themselves wealthy business owners. I mean, they own country clubs, they own other companies. This kid is the valedictorian of a exclusive private high school in Baltimore, Maryland, back in 2016. The story is developing around Luigi Mangione that he had his own frustrations with the healthcare system stemming from lifelong issues with chronic pain associated with a back injury. It's not clear how that directly relates to United Health, but it's clear that he targeted United Health CEO. So we'll be seeing more of that on that coming up pretty soon, I'm sure. So with a kid like this, I mean, a kid from a privileged background, lashing out the way he did, I think what we might be seeing here is even the well-off are starting to say, with respect to our broken healthcare system, enough. It might not be long before that sentiment extends to how we're lorded over by the billionaire class in general. Just saying.